Hello and welcome to Rev Sports. I'm Gargi Raut. We're here at the Kia Oval and I'm with Tim Wigmore, who is the author of this wonderful book called Test Cricket, A History. Now this book starts with the most fitting line that has summed up this entire India versus England 5-match test series tour, and it says, Test cricket is the most brutal game. We have seen that back at Lord's when Mohammad Siraj was crestfallen, on the ground, on his knees, head on his bat, absolutely in disbelief at what had just happened. Then it happens to him again at the Oval when he drops that Harry Brook catch. But at the end, like he said, God cannot be that cruel, and God had something good for him as well. But how frustrating has Mohammad Siraj been for the opposition?
I think from an England point of view, he's a player that you hate, but also would love in your side. So he gives absolutely everything, every ball. You can see on his face like exactly what it means to him. The intensity. He keeps on coming back, and he bowls so aggressively. Like he bowls very full, which means he's always posing a threat to the stumps, but he also can go for runs as well. So whenever he's got the ball, you want to watch. And yeah, the England fans have given him some stick, but he's got the last laugh with that great moment at the end.
I mean, if I keep saying this, if I were to go to war, and if I had to take only one person in my army, it would be Mohammad Siraj. Because I mean, the kind of intensity that he's brought, it's incredible. I think I would equate it somewhere with Ben Stokes every single time. I mean, he puts his hand up and he says, I'm going to do it for England. And that's what we have found in Mohammad Siraj as well. But since we're here, since behind us is the Oval pitch, I want to talk about that controversy a little bit, which got us all involved. The Indian
added
media.
Added a bit more needle to the series.
Usually,
not that they needed it really, but yeah.
You needed it.
Yeah.
No, I think
no, it didn't need it. Yeah.
You did need it. I think you needed a little bit more spice.
Yeah.
And when it's an India-England test series, I mean, wherever the Indians go, you need the spice. You need the masala.
Well, I think with every match it added. It's interesting. So it was only midway through Lord's Test, which was when it had the Shubman Gill, Zach Crawley incident.
Yeah.
That's actually when the series came to life. So the first two tests was like
and also
relatively chilled, and then it just fed up. And also, I think because it's been so hot, well, by English standards anyway, that's probably added to things a little bit.
Even the first 3 days at Lord's was such a... I mean, it was so slow, and then suddenly day 3 at the end.
At the end, when Zach Crawley was taking his time to come out, and then obviously both teams have done that trick. They've both been equally bad at drawing that out, and that's kind of revved up the kind of animosity between the teams. I think it's been pretty, like, there is needle, but I think it's been quite conspirated as well. So I don't think we kind of...
I mean, off the field,
I'm sure they'll be exchanging some kind of like nice words as we speak now. But we've seen plenty of send-offs. Obviously, Siraj involved in quite a few of those. And it's all been But I think it's all what this means to the players on both. And the other thing is because we've had every test has gone to the 5th day, a full 25-day series, which is very, very rare. And that just means actually there's more time for these little tensions to simmer, less time the players to have off, and it all just adds and adds, and it simmered beautifully. So I guess the only thing you could say about today that would have made it better, if it had been 2-2 before today, and this has been the series on the line, as opposed either team can win rather than just India can draw, England can win, would have been even better. But apart from that, it's been a pretty perfect series. Another
thing that is very rare is the fact that an English journalist or an English media person, you, had predicted 3-2, the series to end 3-2. I mean, where did that come from?
Yeah, I said 3 to England with Boria before the series. Yeah. I guess I've seen a lot of England, and they are a good team, but they're also a fallible team. They do have collapses, and their bowling is not, their fast bowling is not brilliant. And also, I was sort of thinking India's fast bowling would be effective, and it has been. I do think India will be very, very pleased with this result. With all the retirements in the last few months, and actually, amazingly, India have won 2-0 on the test without Bumrah, and they've lost 2-0 on the test with Bumrah, which I don't think anyone saw that coming. So that's a very strange thing. And it's something about Siraj, he just seems to do better when Bumrah is not playing.
Not there.
I think that extra responsibility of being leader of the attack probably brings out even more in him. So he's
actually spoken about it, and he said that it's always the responsibility of knowing that you don't have a Jasprit Bumrah to fall back on, and then it just makes him perform well. It's weird.
And I think it's also because he's bowling in the biggest moments. Because when Bumrah's in the team, it sometimes feels like, we're just gonna, we need a wicket. We'll try and turn to Bumrah, and maybe the other guys, it doesn't suit them as much. So Siraj has been leader of the attack really, and he's in the 3 tests he's played, and he's been fantastic. So I think actually most England fans will be they'll be disappointed, but they'll be kind of happy for him as well. And I think on the balance of power in the series, 2-2 is a fair result. In fact, before all 4 fourth innings, India were actually the favourites. So India would think actually The first test, they dropped a lot of catches. And then at Lord's, they're chasing 190, and we've seen some big chases this series. I think they managed that chase pretty poorly. So India will feel a bit disappointed, maybe in some ways, but I think both teams will feel 2-2 is about a fair reflection. And it means that it's now been 4 series in a row and England haven't beaten India as well.
You know, if I talk from an Indian perspective, if I were to pick the best moments, I think I have mine, and we've spoken about it multiple times. It's Rishabh Pant, Mohammad Siraj, Shubman Gill stepping up with the bat in say in our countries, which is a concern that he had for a very long time. But from an English perspective, what are your highlights of the series?
I mean, England seeing the return of Ben Stokes to actually being a proper all-rounder has been a great. You know, he's got more wickets this series than he's ever got in a series before, and he was probably England's best bowler, pretty. Would you say? Yeah, you know. So, yeah, I think Stokes and seeing what he was doing in the first 4 tests. In fact, he's also able in the last test to get 100 and get all those wickets. So he was bringing those things together. Josh Tongue, he bowled some bad balls, but just bowled some very, very good balls as well. So I think he's a kind of positive going forward. And then the batting, obviously, you know, some great batting from Joe Root and Harry Brook as well. I mean, Brook playing that, really remarkable innings here. And it just one of those where if he can win that match, he's like the hero, as it is. We're sort of looking at that dismissal a little bit. But for me, like, you've got to say that is the way Harry Brook plays. And I think there's other dismissals you can look at, like the Jacob Bethel wicket was quite a poor wicket. But I think the way, Brook, he's got 193 balls, just kind of accept that he's going to get out. Sometimes he averages 58 in tests. He's a brilliant player. And the batting of Jamie Smith at Edgbaston was amazing. But I think what we saw was he talked about this a bit, that he put so much into the start of the series and he was knackered. He'd never played a 5-test series before. So he did kind of, his returns with the bat and even keeping a little bit did fall off after. So it's kind of, a reminder actually just how difficult a 5-test series is. And again, Siraj, the last month, I think we looked at Siraj bowled, I think 1,113 balls in the series, and each of those
187 overs, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, and each of those he's putting, and then he gets his ball right at the end, and we say, it's amazing because I mean, Gus Axton was just over there. He was trying for a slog sweep, and actually, if he's connected, that's probably going for 6, and then it's a tie at best for India. England win the series, so that is 25 days has come down to those margins, which is you can't really ask for much more than that in a Test series.
Yeah, but when you talk about this English attack, and if you think of what it's like with Ben Stokes versus without a Ben Stokes, do you think there's a concern there? It's
a huge difference. So when you have, with Stokes, you have 5 proper bowlers, which is actually India were trying to manage that. India had those experiments where they tried with Shardul Thakur and Reddy, and it was kind of a compromise pick. So England, when they had Stokes at his best, they don't have that compromise at all. They have five proper bowlers. It also means it's easier for the spinner. Actually, England didn't pick a spinner here because they wanted 4 bowlers and they didn't have Stokes. They still wanted 4 seamers. I think that is a concern. Also, England really struggled with the old ball all series. That was a massive thing. And Stokes was the one guy who could get wickets with the old ball. This was a little different because this service had a bit more in it for the bowlers, certainly first couple of days. But I think that will be one of England's biggest concerns. But Gus actually made a really good return here. But I think Brian Carse got 9 wickets at 60 in 4 tests, and he'd done so well last winter. So that was a bit of a disappointment as well. We saw a return of Jofra Archer actually, and I think he did pretty well.
He was
considering
decent,
absolutely.
Decent.
From 4, not having played a test for 4 years, I think England would be happy with how he went. So there's some positives. Shoaib Bashir, for me, there's always a debate about. I think as a finger spinner who bats at 11, he probably just doesn't quite offer enough as a package. I supported the Liam Dawson pick, and then Dawson didn't do as well as hoped, but it does keep things tight, which Bashir didn't always do. So quite a lot of questions in the bowling attack for England going forward, and the batting. I mean, we saw some great century from Ollie Pope to start the series.
I was just about to ask you, who do you think was the best batter from England?
I mean, it was Root or Brook, which is kind of
the two.
And Smith earlier in the series. But we saw from the top 3 quite inconsistent. Especially Ollie Pope and Zach Crawley, some flashes of brilliance, and they always seem to average about 33, 34 at the end of a series, which is like you kind of want a little bit more from that. So I think England will be. And also, I think England got the team selection wrong here. Picking with Jamie Overton, who's barely bowled in the County Championship for the last 2 years, and he didn't offer a huge amount with bat or ball. With Bethel, who did really well in New Zealand, but he's played 1 red ball match in 6 months, and he just look a little bit short of practice, really. That team selection might have been a factor as well. But that says was England. Oh, also we've seen all these injuries throughout the series, which has been
my god, the pain.
The pain
is the most brutal game.
It really is. Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yes, it is. But when we talk about, there's been so much pain. There's been emotional pain. There's been mental pain, but also a lot of physical pain, which I do not remember that many injuries.
No,
in
I don't
one
either.
series.
So I think that's partly because of the tests
being
5 tests and 5 days each. And maybe it's the heat makes things, again, by England standards.
It was so hot in Lords.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so that's probably made a bit of a factor, bit of bad luck. Also, I think guys are...
Most of them were external injuries.
Yeah, so kind of...
Shoaib Bashir was external.
But even like with the Wokes one, you never know, but like, does him playing 4 tests before, make him land? I don't know if it's a little factor.
More prone to injury?
Yeah, potentially. Like, it's hard to say. But
we're doctors.
But yeah. But there's a debate about you have concussion subs. And now there has been talk about this series should we have injury subs as well.
Ben Stokes says no.
Ben Stokes says no. Other people say maybe. So that's one to look forward to as well. I mean, if you pick a team and you're missing a bowler, that it's really, really hard to win a test match. But I think but also that was just kind of this silly talk in England before the series about India without Kohli. Will it detract from them? Will they care less about Test cricket? I mean, that's been shown to be not true at all. This team has incredible heart and desire and skill as well. So from the point of view of a new generation of Indian Test cricket, it's been a really positive series. And I think compared to what India did in Australia, it feels like their team has evolved and got to a better place. And for me, Washington Sundar, I think he's a terrific player, and I think we've just seen sort of hints of that in this series. But as a all-round package, really, he's a guy who could be there for a decade to come, really.
All right, and final 2 questions for you, Tim. First, a lot of talk on the spirit of cricket throughout this series. Zach Crawley, and then the next day, Akashdeep doing the same thing.
Everyone does the same thing.
Everyone does the same thing, and everyone's at fault until they do it.
Yeah.
Akashdeep, that Ben Duckett sent off, which we all say, even the Indian media says that it was a bit unnecessary. But what has been your take? And Lee Fortis, how can you forget the man?
Yeah, Lee Fortis. Yeah, he was like the centre of attention, and that was like quite a big spat with Gambit.
So unexpected.
A whole press conference about the groundsman's chat, which we weren't expecting. It's one of those series where storylines have just kept on happening. But no, for me, actually, the one thing I would say, I think the umpires need to be a little bit stronger. And the biggest thing I see that is with the time wasting at the end of the day. So when Crawley and Duckett came out of Lords, I think there was 6 minutes left. The umpires should have just said, actually, there's 6 minutes left. We're going to get 2 overs, whatever happens. And actually, and then India would have been exactly the same India a day later. So actually, if you get umpires saying that, you could even have last hour every day, we make sure we get 15 overs, even if we go another 10 minutes. But I'd like to see umpires doing that and just say, actually, if you keep on pulling out as a batsman with 3 minutes to go just to wind the clock down, well, actually, you've wasted time, so we're going to have another.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you obviously don't want it, you're scared about it. You don't want that. So that's what I'd like to see. I think the umpires, in a way, have been a little bit enfeebled. With DRS, their role was diminished. But actually, you can make them help with that. And I know people say over 8s is kind of only not who cares about it, but actually, I think it does matter a little bit. And the fans pay a lot of money, they want to see. And also, from a kind of point of view of who wins, if one team is just wasting time, that gives them an advantage. So that's been a little thing. I don't think there's been all these incidents. I don't think there's been too much bad blood between the sides.
I don't think so.
So it's been nice. I mean, actually, to be honest, Test cricket is probably more compelling when there is this little bit of needle and anger.
Exactly. I mean, if it was just cricket, you'd be bored.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not really.
Speak for yourself.
I mean, not really. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, Tim. No, I'm just saying that it helps get the attention on.
No, absolutely, because there's different layers and you get those personality clashes. So, no real cons. That thing I would just say, make the umpires a little bit
All right,
more.
and finally, talk about those final 57 moments where every one of us was equally tensed.
Oh yeah, no, it was insane. So we all thought last night that the rain had come at a good time for England, because England were looking like they could lose a wicket every ball, and it was so cloudy, and it just felt like momentum was all India's way. So we thought a new morning going to favour England. Actually, the clouds were here just like last night, so it was kind of made things almost fair, similar conditions. And then England get this 2 bounces from the first 2 balls, a pull from Jamie Overton and then a lucky 4, and suddenly that's like a quarter of their target from 35 to 27. You're like, actually, maybe they'll do it in 3 overs, plunk a couple. But India just kept on coming. I mean, Christian Siraj, just phenomenal effort. And England, and we had that moment with Chris Wokes coming out with, and I would say actually, I thought India managed that quite poorly. Like I think they let Axon have 2 singles of the last ball of the over. And actually, I think there was a way you could have, the first one, I think there's still 11 to go, you could have brought the whole field and said, actually, if you hit it over the field, we get an over at Chris Wokes, we're going to get him out. Potentially could have done that. And then the second time, it was just like he was able to get a single quite easily.
Shubman said, someone asked Shubman about the same thing, why did you open the field up? And he said that we didn't want them to get boundaries. We were okay with singles because then that would have significantly reduced the total. And we didn't want them to have have the comfort of knowing that, okay, if we have 6 runs on the scoreboard, that can be achieved with a boundary, which is why they didn't do that. They wanted them to run. Justified, very, very valid from Shubman Gill. But yes, final thoughts.
Yeah, no, it's been a cracking series. It really has been one of the best, best series we've seen in a long, long period. Only thing, sometimes the old ball was like not really doing anything, so sometimes it was a little bit not as compelling with the old ball, but generally it's been a really good series. But we're now in an interesting position where England keep drawing with India 2-2 at home, but they keep getting thrashed in India. So it's actually can England, so actually it's weird, like the kind of flaws in England make them a very watchable side at home because they don't actually dominate teams at home that much. But whether England can be more competitive in India will be the challenge, and it's going to be a big challenge. But I guess we've seen again. I think within the big change in Indian cricket, as I do talk about that, is how with all their fast bowling stocks now they can be competitive anyway, and that's been the big difference from 1990s and earlier. And that's why we saw with Siraj today. They've got a team. You give them a green pitch, and actually they can be as dangerous as a home team for sure. Yeah.
Well, it was lovely hearing your insights, Tim. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a long 2-month grueling tour comes to an end, and it's going to be a long while for India to play another test series. In the meanwhile, why don't you read this book? It's called Test Cricket, A History. It's by Tim Wigmore. So go ahead and read that book, and of course, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.